What is up, Nerd Nation? It's your boy Hunter here for Film Nerd TV, and tonight we are doing another HorrorScope podcast video version, and this is the best horror movies of the decade, 2010 through 2019. And I have my co-host, Russell Howell. How's it going, man? He might be frozen, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Russ, you're frozen, brother. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, we're gonna go through our top 10 movies of the decade. And we're gonna do it kind of like the top 10 show, where we go 10 through 7, then we go our 6 through 3, and then we'll do our top 2. Yeah, he'll be back in a second. So yeah, that's how it's gonna work. We each start with our top 10, 10 through 7, then our 6 through 3, then finish off with our final 2. We're not gonna make another list, like a separate list altogether. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna celebrate the year of 2010. In my opinion, one of the best years in horror. When you look at, this was a year where horror was trying something very different. You had your slashers, of course. You had your supernatural, but you also had more story-driven horror movies. It wasn't always about a killer. It wasn't always about a giant beast or things like that. You had horror movies that dealt with real life situations. And then there were some that was just fun, like a really like your slashers or things like that. So yeah, we'll wait for Russ to get back in, then we will continue the list. But yes, this is the official start of, I guess, season 2 of the HorrorScope Show / podcast. Not sure if I want to upload a audio version. I might as well upload one, but I like the idea of going live every week, just having a live discussion about the movie on topic. So what we'll do is we'll get 4 movies for the month. We're going to alternate out. We're not doing the horror corner anymore, because I like to have things in order. That way we know which way it's going to go. So you guys will get the first 4 movies list on the Facebook group a little bit later. I don't know what is going on. He should be back in here any second. But yeah, that's our plan here. Is every month we're gonna do 4 movies. We're gonna break them down, and then you guys get 4 reviews every month. Again, something that I want to start doing at least one a week on the HorrorScope Show. Kind of breaking down a lot of the horror movies. So hopefully we get a good following here, because I enjoy the show. I enjoy horror. I enjoy just having someone to discuss horror with. As you guys see my Stranger Things 3 poster. So yeah, I'm just trying to buy time. Oh, there we go. You're back.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck happened. I've been having problems with our internet here trying to hook it up because where it's at the opposite end of the house, the modem,
Oh.
and we've been having problems with it, so I have no idea. So let's give this a shot, see how that goes again.
All right. So he's back. This is live, so there is no editing. But welcome back.
Nice, nice. Okay, we'll do that.
So yes, this is the best horror movies of the decade. Russ, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. Sorry about that. Like I said, yeah, new house. We're trying to get everything all together here with the internet, and yeah, I don't know why the hell I just randomly cut out like that. So yeah, I got off the call and I tried to get back on it. It took a couple minutes, but yeah. Anyway, hopefully that was all that we encounter, and let's have a good show here.
Yeah. So I was explaining how I want this to work while you got cut out, and I want to do kind of like the top 10 show does. So we talk about our 10 through our 7, and then we go 6 through 3, and then our top 2 at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of explain why it's on our list, the positions it's in, things like that.
All right.
So why don't you start with your 10 through 7?
Yeah, my number 10, I had The Purge. It was one
Oh,
of the
really?
ones where I had it lower just because of the fact that it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like it was a scary movie or like a horror-esque film. Because to me, this is more of a fun film where one night you get to pretty much kill and do whatever you want to do, and it's like the whole town goes on lockdown, and it's pretty much everybody for themselves, which I liked. I liked the concept of it. It was original. That's why I kind of put that on there, I think, just because of the fact that it had an original concept. It was a fun film. And then I felt as the other ones got, like, as we kept going through the second Purge and Anarchy and all that, election year or whatever, I felt like it got weaker and weaker.
Really?
To me, the first one I think is the best one because it sets up that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It sets it up. So to
Yeah,
me,
I've always heard that the Purge movies got better as the time went on, except for the last 2.
Yeah, so there's only 4, I believe.
So
yes.
the
So
second one is everyone's favorite, apparently.
The second one wasn't my favorite. I would put. I don't know. It's been a while since I've revisited them, but the first one just stuck with me because of the fact of its originality. I like the whole concept of it. You know, this one night, anything goes, and it's kind of scary if you think about it in that kind of context. So
yeah,
to me, it was a no-brainer. I had to put that on there, so I put The Purge at number 10.
Awesome.
All right, so at number 9, I have a movie I'm sure you'll probably have on your list, maybe higher. I have Us.
I mean, if you want to punt, we can talk about it when we get to mine. That way we can kind of go back and forth with it.
8, I have a movie that you probably will not have on your list. I have You're Next.
Haven't seen it. I gotta watch it.
It's a fun film. You know, it was just one of those films where it kind of reminds me of Ready or Not. I kind of compare those two because they're kind of almost the same. Not like the hide and go seek type of thing, but you have a female protagonist in the film, and it's just a really fun film where stuff starts to happen, and it just I don't want to like give it away, but it's just one of those ones where it's a really fun film, and it's a really surprising film. I walked into it not knowing what to expect because of the fact that it got a wide release, but I don't feel like it got a lot of recognition. Not a lot of people knew about it. So yeah, You're Next is number 8. I love the concept.
Number 9, you mean? Or no, number 8.
Number 8, yeah.
Right.
All right, then going into number 7, I have Don't Breathe. I'm sure maybe a little bit higher on yours.
Actually, not on my list.
Really, I'm shocked.
It made my honorable mention list because there were so many that I had to like.
I mean, it's a fun film. To me, it's another one where it's like, you know, you have what the hell is his name? Not Lang. Yeah, Lang. What's his name?
Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang's in it.
Lang himself
plays a blind man, and these group of 3 people go in and they break into his house and kind of just unravel some different sort of things, and they pretty much break off more than they can chew, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you start to see the deep, dark secrets that are in this house. And I just think it's really kind of cool. I think it's something different. It was one of those ones from, I think it was like, was it like 3 or 4 years ago? I think it came out.
Yeah, it was like 2016, I think.
2015, 2016, yeah. So to me, it was a fun film. And it was one that like I enjoy Because I had to put like top 10 horror films, like overall, like what I thought were like the good horror films. There were so many guilty pleasures I have.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean. It was one of those ones where I had to show some love for this one, so I put that at
Oh, yeah.
number put that at number 7.
All right, on to me. I'm gonna begin the list with something that might be higher on your list. I'm going It Follows.
Yeah, it's definitely a punt.
All right, so we'll get back to talking to that one later. So my number 9 is a movie called Hush.
Yeah, I
Yep.
remember you talking about that. I never saw it.
This movie is kind of like Don't Breathe in a way, except our main protagonist is a woman and she's deaf.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's got that closed off feel to it because she's in a house. It's deep in the woods, and it's one mass intruder taking on this deaf girl, and madness ensues. It feels like entering your personal space in a way that could really get under your skin. And to me, it's not. To me, it's not top level horror for me of the decade, but it's definitely number 9 on my list.
Okay.
Number 8 might surprise you. Number 8 is Hereditary.
That's a punt.
It's a punt.
Yeah.
My number 7 might also be a punt. It's the other Ari Aster film, Midsommar.
Slight punt.
Slight punt. What number do you have it?
I have it at 6.
Well, then we can go ahead and go back and forth and talk about it.
That's fun.
Yeah, this movie was insanely good. To me, though, I don't see this as really straight horror in a way.
No, it's more like psychological horror. To me, it's
which I can't really say that because my number 1 isn't really
yeah
straight horror either. But to me, I think what this movie does so well is the performances.
That's if your number 1's classified as a horror movie. I think that's what you're getting at. Because I think I know where you're already going with that, and it's not a horror film, but it's okay. Like I said, we've had this conversation before. It's one of those ones where I think it's more thriller. If it's what I think it is.
But
anyway, yes.
Midsommar does something where it tweaks your expectations some. Like you go into the movie expecting this kind of wild ride, but in reality, it's a slow burn horror movie that is done really well.
Yeah, I mean that's something Ari Aster obviously did in Hereditary. I like this one. I do like the performance. I think Florence Pugh is tremendous in this film, and I like.
Oh, yeah.
I just like the slow burn that this movie is. It takes its time. It's almost 2.5 hours if you watch the director's cut, which I watched. I watched that the second time I saw this at the theaters when they re-released it.
Is it good? Does it add to the movie?
They had a little bit to it. Yeah, they had like 15 or 20 minutes of extra stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I think it's only available on iTunes to buy because you can't because the one that's out like on Blu-ray right now, I don't think you can. I don't think it's a director's cut. But
no, I think you have to buy it on like Apple products or something like that.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely worth the watch. You might want to rent it. I mean it's one of those ones where it sucks. I wish they would have the director's cut and the regular cut all on one Blu-ray. Would be nice.
Yeah, but, me too.
It's a slow burn. Like you have Florence Pugh's character. Parents have died, and she is pretty much kind of in a state of just like numbness. She's in a relationship right now with a guy that she doesn't really feel like is there for her. Mm-hmm. So they decide to go on this retreat. Pretty much the other friend suggests that there's this medieval or like festival or whatever that they end up going to.
It's a midsummer festival.
It's a midsummer festival in
Switzerland, I think.
Yeah, so anyway, they end up going there and a lot of things start happening, like mysterious things start happening, and it's just one big cluster of craziness that ensues. What
the hell is going on for 2.5 hours?
But it's fun, like I said. It's just one of those movies I enjoy. It's one I'll go back to. I really did enjoy the film. I thought it was a really good film, and I know a lot of people it was either hit or miss. People either liked it or they hated it. There wasn't a middle. Which
I understand because this movie isn't really made for mainstream audiences, if that makes any sense.
Well, because the thing is, Hereditary was so different and really kind of announce Ari Aster
Mhm.
to all of us. And like, this guy's a good filmmaker. But they're just, it was one of those ones where it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
It's not like, like a case in point, like, let's say, how do you say it? Like it's like a Michael Myers or a
Yeah,
slasher film.
Halloween,
This
something
is
like that. Yeah.
it's a slow burn, and but it does stay with you. A lot of the scenes in it for sure stay with you, and
Oh, there's
kind of
one scene. I mean, there's spoilers in here because if you guys haven't seen it, it came out this past year.
came out in the summertime. Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, there's obviously time where we can
came
talk
out
about
in July.
there's one scene that's always been in my mind, and that's the scene where that woman jumps off, like the woman and the man jump
So
off the cliff
sacrifice
to their
themselves.
death.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
sacrifice themselves because
yeah.
I think they said it's like an old age tradition when you get a certain age.
You just kill yourself because it's just like a cleansing, I guess. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that I had my mouth like to the floor at that point because
yeah.
like
That was one.
at that
Yeah,
point it was like okay that something doesn't seem right. When that happens, that's when everything starts going downhill from there.
but like even the beginning scene, like it stays with you. The parents killing
Yeah.
themselves in the house and stuff like that, with the car running and they have
Well,
the hoses.
the
Listen,
sister kills herself, but I think she kills the parents.
the parents are there. The parents are in there too. The parents are in the bed.
Yeah, no, I think what's was said was that she killed her parents and then killed herself.
Oh well. Either way, that the opening scene of that is kind of haunting. And always sticks
Yeah.
with you. There's a lot of scenes that are for sure that stick with you from that film. But I think it's a good film that you can go back to and enjoy.
Yeah.
So
I heard a lot of people compare this to the original Wicker Man, not the one with Nick Cage, but the original
I've never seen the original Wicker Man, but I get the Wicker Man esque vibes to it because it has that like cult esque.
Yeah.
Because even from the remake, you still see that cult influence in the
And they even have a
original.
bear suit.
Yeah, and then you get the bear suit, so it's all good.
All right, so on to your 6 through 3.
My 6 is Midsummer, which we just talked about. 5 is one that you just watched, Cabin in the Woods.
That's my number 6, so we can talk about it.
It's just one of those films where it really took the horror genre and kind of just like made fun of it, pretty much. Kind of made fun of it with kind of paying homage to it. This was one I really necessarily didn't really care for the first time I saw it because I was thinking this movie was going to be something else completely different. And then I think on rewatch, I think when Chance and I did it, I think I watched it twice. I think when Chance and I did it on our podcast, watched it again. I think it was like the third time I watched it. I'm like, yeah, I really was too hard on this movie. I think the first time I watched it because mentally, I don't think I was ready for. I was ready for a horror film,
horror movie, not a
horror comedy, like spoof, like you know what I mean. But this thing really does take a lot of things from the past and kind of pay homage to it.
Mhm.
I love the whole thing with all the different ways to kill all the different monsters and stuff like that. I think it's so cool.
By the way, if you freeze frame this movie where they're looking at the big board, you can see a whole lot of horror references. Like they have Deadite, of course, Evil Dead. They've got the zombies, and then they have like family torture zombies, which I was like, that's hilarious because it's like two separate categories.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like I said, like, and I even love like how they had fun. Like Richard Jenkins at the beginning of it, they have a thing where they have like a betting board of like all the different ways that they're gonna bet on these people to die. And it's so crazy. And
the Ring reference.
What's that?
The Ring reference.
Yeah,
the Mara reference in Japan.
Yep, and I love the whole merman at the end. I think that's hilarious. But like I said, it's a fun film. It's something I think, like I said,
that's got Bradley Whitford in it, doesn't it?
Bradley Whitford plays it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's also in one of your films, I believe, coming up.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I guarantee. Oh man, I absolutely know what your one is, man. Anyway, but like, it's a fun film. Kind of how you said, like, I can see where you get the whole Scream-esque to it, just because of the fact of what it took and borrowed from its predecessors to kind of. Yeah. This one was just a fun film. It had fun with itself. It didn't take itself too seriously, and I think that's why it's one of those ones that kind of just stick in there. And it's not necessarily scary. It's more just like it's just a fun bloodbath all the time. You know,
Like, this is the one movie that, like, and I'm probably gonna get hate for this in the comments, but as you said, I compared this movie to the modern day Scream, and I will stick to that because what it does is it takes all the horror tropes from the early 2000s, the monsters, the demons, the zombies, whatever, and they turn on their head. Like, you come in expecting one thing, and then once that board comes into play, it's meta filled. It's got a little bit of comedy in there. It's definitely scary because there's a lot of scary moments in there. It's also intriguing because once you find out what they're actually there for, what the sacrifices are, things like that, then your interest is piqued.
yeah.
I mean, and the cast is stellar. You got like Chris Hemsworth. You've got Sigourney Weaver. It's the
At the ending of it, yeah.
the one behind it all, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, just a really good cast. And the movie's just entertaining. Like, you watch it, it's a really easy watch. It's like right at 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's something that you can pop on Netflix or whatever and just be like, okay, I'm going to watch a 2-hour bloodbath, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that, like I said, it's not so much scary as it is more just a fun time. So, yeah, I have that as my number 5. At number 4, I'm sure you have this in your top 2 or 3. I have It from 2017.
Yep.
It's, to me, you said it's a punt?
Yeah, punt.
I figured. That's probably your 1-2 combo. See if I'm right.
Maybe. So let's see. You did 5. Are you in your 4?
4 was it.
All right. No, it's 6 through 3.
Yeah, I had Midsommar, Cabin in the Woods. Oh, okay. And my number 3 is one that I'm sure might be kind of in the same spot. I have The Conjuring. It was one of the ones where I thought it really set off the whole entire universe with, the Conjuring, the Annabelle, the Insidious, like the whole entire.
Well, that's number 5. So that's not too far.
And that's the only reason why I put it on there, just because it kind of like expanded this universe that we have now.
Yeah.
Where they're tying everything together, like the Curse of La Llorona. You have
The
all this
Nun.
stuff. The Nun. You have all this stuff connected to the Conjuring universe.
Yeah.
I think what Insidious isn't Insidious tied to it at all? No.
Yeah.
These movies just get so damn like there's too much of this shit going on. But with the Conjuring, you have Conjuring, Annabelle, the Nun, and La Llorona all together, right? Is that?
And then there's like Annabelle Comes Home, and then there's
Annabelle films. That's right too. Yeah, and that Annabelle, and that good honorable mention. That Annabelle film that came out this year was fantastic.
Yeah, that was really good.
I really enjoyed that. Yeah, for sure. Like, Lights Out would be another honorable mention I would throw in there for sure. I'm just randomly venting here of this honorable mentions. Child's Play this year was a fun film. It was a fun a reboot. It wasn't it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Same.
And then there's another one, Steve Soderbergh's Unsane.
I haven't seen that one. I gotta watch it.
Was really good with Clara Foy. It's more psychological thriller. That's why I didn't put it on there. But anyway, sorry. Number 3, like I said, The Conjuring, just because of the fact of what it brought to the table. It was really scary when it first came out, and it was like, it was one of those films where, moving forward, they just put so much out. And I think that's what kind of hurt it a little bit, because I feel like there's so much going on in there now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different. But the first Conjuring, I think, was the scariest. So I have Conjuring at 3.
That's kind of the reason why I love the Conjuring movie so much, is because James Wan really paid attention to details in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he sat down with the real Lorraine Warren, and got to talk to her about this experience, and you could tell how close he wanted to make it to the actual story that happened. Yeah. And I mean, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are incredible in this movie. The chemistry they have as husband and wife, you really feel it. Like, you really feel for this family. Overall, I love The Conjuring. It's really good. Yeah,
I do too. Like I said, I like to give you shit for it all the time, but it did help kind of open up the whole entire genre moving forward at the back end of this decade. So it'll be fun to see what they kind of do in 2020, like with the horror genre in general.
Yeah, especially with The Conjuring 3 coming out.
Well, that and just the popularity of A24, where they're going to take horror films. You know what I mean? Especially because I know The Lodge is on my anticipated films of the next year. Like, The Lodge looks fantastic. check it out. It looks absolutely fantastic. Like it's one of my top 10 of anticipated for the year.
Ooh, okay.
And then there's another one I really like. It's kind of cheesy, but I put it on there. It is the hell were we talking about here? Because Chance and I were talking about our anticipated films of the year. I put Fantasy Island is another one.
Yeah.
Fantasy Island looks really good. There's another film called Antebellum that looks really good.
I saw that one too.
Antebellum, and then The Invisible Man, I think looks really good.
Dude, that trailer surprised me.
Those are like my bottom 4, my top anticipated films of the 2020. So like I'm looking forward to like see where the horror genre in itself goes. But moving forward though, we'll see what happens. But I have a Conjuring at number 3.
All right, so my number 6 and number 5 have already been talked about. Cabin in the Woods, number 6. Number 5 is The Conjuring. Number 4, I have A Quiet Place.
Okay, yeah, I have that as probably like an honorable mention.
Yeah,
I know Chance is bigger on this film than I am. To me, it just, I hate the direction I went to in the last third of the movie. We'll talk about it.
See, I can understand that, but to me, there was nothing wrong with this movie.
No, I'm not sitting there saying that. The Krasinski was perfect, like shooting the film. I just, and spoiler alert here for nobody who saw it. I just hate the fact that he dies in the film. I think it's stupid. You don't need to take him out of the film.
Though the way he went out, though, I can accept it. He went out saving his son and his daughter. Actually, he went out saving his daughter, which to me actually made it more powerful because you could tell that there was kind of a disconnect after the death of his son at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
She's the one that gave him the battery. She's the one that, feels like she caused the death of her younger brother.
Yeah, I get you.
And you can kind of see there's a resentment there. Like, he still loves his daughter, but you can see he kind of resents it. But this one is a moment where he was like, no, she's my daughter. She's in trouble, and I'm going to go out protecting her. And he makes that noise, and he runs off, and then he gets killed, which...
I just didn't like that part, to me.
Yeah.
Can we just have a side bet here just for fun?
Go ahead.
I'm going to guess your top 3 in order. Can I do that real fast?
Go ahead.
At number 1, you're going to have Get Out. At 2, I think you're going to have It. I'm going to go 3, The Witch. So we'll leave it at that. I'm curious about that. I want to call that. I almost either that or I would say It or The Witch 2 and 3 or 3 and 2. But I know Get Out your 1. Oh, I'm gonna say The Witch is 3.
My number 3. You're wrong. It's Us.
Really? I'm shocked. You left one of these guys off.
Huh?
Wow. You left one of these movies out. Wow.
Which one is it? You'll never know.
1's Get Out. I think 2's It. I think you left The Witch out.
Maybe. You don't know.
That's crazy. Wow. I was not expecting Us to be that high on your list.
Dude, because Us, again, is a movie that no matter how many times I watch it, I see something new that I didn't catch beforehand.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not anything minor, but it's something major that I missed that could really get me talking about another theory.
Yeah.
And just keep running with it. And what does this mean? What does this mean? It had me talking half of the year about what the movie actually meant. I mean, we had a hour and a half conversation with Janine.
Yeah.
On here about it, and we still came up with 7 or 8 theories about it. And I like movies that can keep me intrigued for so long about what the movie actually meant. But overall, that side is one thing, but the movie itself is incredibly directed, acted. It's got horror, comedy, it's got a social message, it's got everything that a real horror movie today should need. And Jordan Peele brings his classic, really suspense with comedy that works really, really well.
No, I agree. Like I said, it's on my list. It's a little bit lower just because of the fact, I think just because it came out this year, I think it's kind of why I'm shifting it down that low. But it's still a fun film to revisit. Like I said, we talked about it. We had good things to say about it. I don't think it's as good as his first film, but on the same token, though, it's still a serviceable film. So,
yeah. Definitely. My number 3 is Us. Now let's get to our top 2. So let's both do our number 2, and then we'll both do our number 1. All right.
Okay.
So start with your number 2.
My number two is Hereditary.
Okay.
And
All right. So
and
we can talk about that.
I just have it up higher just because of the fact I think it was more of the shock value or
Yeah.
the hype going into a horror film. I think I
By the
really had that.
way, the same girl who plays in Hereditary, didn't she also play in Quiet Place as the daughter?
Shit, I couldn't tell you. I don't even know. You might want to look that up.
'Cause I think it is.
I don't know. But to me, I had it on there just because of the fact that it was more of the hype that was surrounding it. I think it was
Yeah.
one of those films where this is where you kind of started to slowly see A24 as a filmmaking company. Really, I mean, you had heard of A24 and you had seen some of the stuff that they had put out, but this is where the ball really started rolling down the hill for them. I think, like, and really taking off. It was one of those films going into it like the tension the whole entire film was like, oh my god, like what's going to happen here, what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then with the whole payoff with the whole pagan cult and stuff like that, which you kind of saw, you kind of had an idea that they were like witches or something. You knew something was going on.
Yeah.
And I like how you can go back and Ari Aster kind of like threw hints and clues throughout the whole entire film, which he also did in Midsommar, where they have like in that dorm area that they're staying in, the paintings on the wall kind of are like foreshadowing what's going to happen. I kind of like that, and
okay.
To me, this is such a divisive movie. A lot of people think this movie is overhyped.
No. I love it. The only reason I had it up so high was because, to be honest, there was a lot more movies that I just personally enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. To me, I felt like let's see, like The Conjuring, I have lower. What I have You're Next, Don't Breathe are more like popcorn, scary films. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this one was more scary. You know what I mean? It was scary. It was a darker film. It was just one of those ones where, like I said, it was. I mean, I thought it was well shot. I thought Ari Aster really kind of established himself as a horror director, and like I said, it was a big hit for A24. It's a fun film. It's one to go back to and watch, and then you can kind of see, knowing what you know, see it and kind of like get something else out of it. I think sometimes too.
And what I also love, or I love about this movie is that everybody, like the whole family, you can see that there's an underlying like issue between all of them.
Yeah.
That finally rears its head towards the end. The only reason I have Midsommar over Hereditary in my list is because I connected with the characters more in Midsommar than I did in Hereditary.
Yeah, that's fine.
Some characters in Midsommar that I related to more and kind of enjoyed watching more. I think in Hereditary, like the acting is incredible.
Yeah.
But towards the middle of the movie, you start hating most of the characters.
I can agree with that.
Like, to me, I want at least one character I can like throughout the entire movie. And to me, when the middle hits and towards the end, there really isn't anyone you root for. In Midsommar, you have Florence Pugh's character that you can really relate to, and then you've got everybody surrounding her that you can relate to as well.
No, I agree. Oh, yeah, I'll give it to you.
They get picked off, but you're still rooting for somebody towards the end of the movie.
That makes sense. Like I said, it does. But I mean, to me, I think scarier-wise, like what's going to scare you more, I think, is Hereditary over Midsommar. Both good films.
Yeah. So my number 2 is It Chapter 1.
Ooh, there you go. Shocker! I told you, I was close. I got the number 2 and the number 1, man. Come on. I know I do. I know I got it.
You know me so well, but yeah, I'm a huge Stephen King fan. His books are absolutely incredible. They tried one with Tim Curry. Tim Curry's a great Pennywise. The movie surrounding him wasn't that good.
I mean, it was more like at the time, it was more of a TV miniseries, and I mean, it's I mean, to show what they showed then, it's still like a huge accomplishment.
Yeah,
for TV.
But also like they tried to do way too much in that block of time. I think breaking up into 2 movies was smart. Yeah. I liked It Chapter 2. I don't care what anybody says. I think it's a good conclusion to the It Chapter 1 movie we had.
The first one's still better, I think, but
yeah, obviously. But to me, it brings a good element of like Stand By Me and mixes it with the lore of It and Pennywise and things like that. Because you have a coming of age film that's really scary, but also you fall in love with these characters.
Yeah, I mean, I have it at my number 4. Like I said, it was one of those films where, I mean, I enjoyed it the first time I watched it. It took a couple rewatches, I think, and I think because I saw it in the theater again right before the second one had come out this year, I had kind of revisited it, and I really, it was like one of those underrated ones. Going back and watching, I'm like, yeah, this is a lot better than I thought. Like, just I think because the hype couple years ago, team. Oh, it's the best film of the year. It's like it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's like it wasn't the best film of the 2017, but I do think it was, like I said, like kind of how you said. It was one of those kind of throwing it back to the 80s. I liked how they set it in the 80s because like the 80s was a popular thing in 2017. You had Stranger Things and all the other things that were coming out, paying homage to like the 1980s, like that retro feel to it.
Yeah.
I did like that. I like that whole entire like Stand By Me-esque feel to it. One of those like, those cheesy 80s films. And it was fun. Like I said, it's one that you can go back to,
Yeah.
But like I said, the first one, like I said, I think it's better than the second, but it's still both good films.
Yeah. I feel like if you watch both of them back to back, like It Chapter 1 and then It Chapter 2, it's a much better experience if you go like from one to the other.
Yeah.
Because they all tie in perfectly. From the way the first one ends to the way the second one begins and ends.
Yeah.
Makes like one like really good like 2-movie arc.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the second one really, I mean, it was okay. I'm gonna probably have to revisit it anyway. I did get it for Christmas on Blu-ray.
Nice.
I do need to probably revisit that. It's been, like I said, I haven't seen it since it came out. So yeah, it's one I definitely liked, but I think the first one was better. But
I do too.
Overall, still good films.
But before we get to our number ones, which you already know what number one is, let's be honest. But let's get into some honorable mentions. Mind if I start?
Yeah, you got it, man. I know you that well. That's why.
I actually have a lot on my list. So I have The Witch is an honorable mention.
I'm surprised you didn't have that in your top 5.
Granted, I saw The Witch once. I have to go back and rewatch it.
I'm surprised.
The Witch is really good. The Witch is really damn good. I just, out of the 10 movies, I couldn't find a spot to put it. Happy Death Day. I think
Happy Death Day was good. Yeah,
that movie was just so fun. It's a movie it's a real easy, like 90 minutes something watch. You can just pop on, have fun. It's more lighthearted. I've got Halloween from 2018. I think that's a really good sequel that really works really well.
Yeah, I didn't have any room for it, but yeah, I enjoyed that one too.
I have Split. I think Split is so good as a psychological thriller. I have one that I'm not sure if you've seen. It's called Frozen. It came out at like the very beginning of 2010.
No, I seen the animated Frozen. That's about
it. Not that one.
Just kidding.
But it's pretty much like these 3 people, like these 3 friends, are like stuck on a ski lift.
Okay.
In like dead winter.
Okay.
And then the park closes and they get stuck on like the very, very, very tippy top of the ski lift.
Okay.
And it's pretty much just survival. Surviving the cold, surviving the wolves at the bottom that's circling them. It's actually really intense. It's actually really, really, really good. I have Let Me In from 2010. Matt Reeves directed. I think that's a really good remake from the Swedish film.
Mm-hmm.
That's the right one in. Lights Out, The Conjuring 2, I think is really damn good. Ready or Not, I have that as an honorable mention. That movie is so fun.
Yeah, it is. Again, like, that's the thing that kind of confuses me. Like, I think it's just like some of these really, I don't really just think are horror films. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, I get it though.
I have Don't Breathe, and then I have Scream 4 because I think Scream 4 ended the series really well.
Good picks. Like I said, I had said some earlier, like Lights Out, Unsane, Halloween 2018 was good. Mm-hmm. Shit, you can go back, and I'm trying to think of other films that I came to the top of my head. Like I said, The Conjuring, I did enjoy like Child's Play this year. I did like the new Annabelle film. Sinister, I think. Did Sinister come out?
Yes, it did. It came out in like 2013, Don't quote me on that.
I feel bad. Like I should have put that on there because Sinister was really good too.
Yes, it was.
So Sinister would be one I would put on there. I'm trying to think what else. There's just so many of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a decent decade for horror films.
Oh yeah, without a doubt it was. Let me see if I can find any more. I mean, the greatest horror movie of all time came out in the 2010s. You know what it is?
What would that be?
Rubber.
Can't forget the good old Rubber. What the hell? Who was talking about that stupid movie?
I know Nostalgia Critic did a whole review for it.
I don't know if it was. I thought Chance and I were there. Or I remember hearing about it. It's about a killer. What the hell is it?
It's a killer possessed tire.
Tire. That's it. Yeah. I think either you and I were talking about. Chance and I were talking about. I can't remember who was talking about it, but I remember we were laughing about that. What a stupid idea for a film.
Yeah, it's so dumb. All right, so give your number one.
My number one's a punt from earlier for yours. It Follows.
Really? Number one?
Because here, listen to this. And I'm just going to say the fact that this was such an original idea, I think is why I have it up so high.
Okay,
that you can go back to, and it is frightening, like to watch. Like it's just like it's so original. The
score is really good.
The score is good. The acting, like there's not a whole lot of like name actors and actresses in it, which I think is kind of fun because you're not distracted from that.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like I said, it's just one you can go back to and watch, and it's like, damn, this thing can be transmitted via sex and stuff like that. It's like it's kind of scary because it's like you can't see it except like nobody else can see it except you.
Yeah,
and it's scary because you don't know what the hell's going to happen, you know. And I think it works perfectly. It's a fun film. It's a damn good film. And like I said, like when I was thinking of all the other ones on the list, I kind of just threw this list together, literally in like 15 minutes, I would say.
I literally had to go through my list like multiple times trying to change things out.
So I have to apologize if my list wasn't that great.
No, dude.
Or if I missed anything because it was like.
If you think it's the best movie of the decade, then you put it on your number one. Like
I said, it's one that I've always talked about. We had a good discussion about it on our podcast. It's a fun film.
We reviewed It Follows?
Didn't we do it on? Did we do it? No, not on the podcast, but we did it. We shot a video on it, didn't we?
I have to go back in the archives. I don't think we did.
That's one of the first ones that you shot. Remember, we were talking about doing horror films, and you and I.
That's right.
About.
That's right. Yep.
So I don't know. It wasn't a podcast then.
It wasn't a HorrorScope show, but I think it was just like a regular review. No, I know what it was. It was during our the Halloween horror reviews
last year.
Last year, yep.
Boy, we did a really bad job on that for the last couple of years. We need to get better. This year, like I said, this year's going to be better because we're trying to plan this out and try to block off time to actually coincide releases and stuff like that.
With I do one live HorrorScope podcast a week.
Yeah, that's fun.
I don't have to edit anything out. We'll just go live, talk with the chat, and then just kind of talk about the movie of the week.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that. And then, like I said, I think we should do at least the keep the podcast form.
Okay.
Do it, record that, but just do it as an actual podcast too, because you don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? You can make it both, you know. Yeah. Just to keep that going, so people can find that, and we can get a little bit build the following up on the horror podcast, because I know there's a lot of stuff there's a lot of movies out there to talk about, and
there is.
You know, there's a lot of ground to cover, and we've only just begun this. We really haven't had a lot. I think we've had how many episodes? Maybe 10.
Yeah, right at 10, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, we just got to get better at following up, throwing them out every week. But I think it's a fun thing that we have, a good concept. So I think we just got to keep it rolling.
Yeah. What could my number one be?
I don't know. You tell me.
My number one is, of course, Get Out. I mean, yeah, he was right. My number one and number two were correct.
I was really surprised The Witch wasn't on there, but yeah.
I have two Jordan Peele movies. And yeah, I love Get Out. This is a movie that I've watched just 10 or 15 times already.
Uh-huh.
And again, it's a movie that I can watch and get new things out of it every time. I like movies that aren't just stationary, like you watch the movie and it's over. I like when a movie can follow you. See what I did?
I saw what you did.
But just everything in this movie works so well for me. Like the score, the directing, the acting, the overarching message, and the fact that this movie is really, really terrifying. They are literally like buying black men to take their brains, to take their eyes, to take whatever they want from them and sell it off to other people. Like that is scary to me. And just like everything in this movie works super well. It's got a lot of action in it, which keeps the anticipation high. It's again, it's more of an intense thriller film. It keeps you on the edge.
Mhm.
You're not sure what's going to happen to it. The
Mhm.
twist at the end with the Allison, what's her name? Allison Williams' character Rose, turning on him and everything like that, and the fact that throughout the whole movie you can see it happening, and it doesn't click into the final 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Everything in this movie works so well, and that's why it's my number one of the decade.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've had this age-old discussion about whether or not it's a horror film. I mean, I think it's more thriller-esque, but it's your list.
Though I
there
could
are
say the same thing about Midsommar and Hereditary, though. They all have more of a thriller element to it.
See, I would say I'd say Hereditary is more horror than Get Out. I mean, just because of the simple fact that you have like you know what I mean? The aspect of that, I think maybe Midsommar not so much as a horror film. Maybe that's more of a psychological thriller.
I don't know. I just kind of categorize them as one because it's always horror thriller.
It is, man. And that's the thing about it. Now, I just like to give you a hard time about that because I still don't classify it as a horror film. But hey, listen, it is what it is. It's your list, man. It's a good film. So I mean, yeah.
All right, so guys, that was our long-winded way to say those were our 10 movies of the decade. Russ, I cannot wait to start up the HorrorScope podcast again this year. Do you have the first movie you want to announce that we can start with?
I honestly have nothing right now. I can't. Like, I want to see what comes out like in the next couple weeks or so to kind of like tailor a movie
Actually, you know what we could do? I know this movie's already came out, and I know that the movie's not well received. We could talk about the original Grudge movie.
Yeah, we can do. Like, you want to do the Sarah Michelle Gellar
one? Yes.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking that we could do. So we might just be able to shoot that out and do that.
All right, so that might be the next one next week that I pick, and then you can pick the one.
That's fine.
And we can just kind of set them in a block.
Yeah, that's fine. But like I said, it's one of those ones where like this year we'll get better with putting out content.
So guys, as you heard right here, we will be hopefully uploading more of these throughout the years. Russ, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you guys can find me at Notorious by Chance. My buddy Chance Ellison and I do a podcast as well, Notorious by Chance. Facebook group, join, same name, get on, vote. We put polls up. We just shot an episode today. It was the top 20 performances of 2019.
Wow.
And we also did kind of an Oscar recap just to talk about the nominations. I think Chance also wants to get into the top 100 of the decade, which is going to be something, a little bit of an undertaking. I got to kind of revisit some of these films.
I'll join.
Okay. It's one of those things where it's like, we got to revisit this stuff, though. It's like one of those things where we got to kind of, I haven't even put the list together. I'm trying to like figure it out. I think he's like almost halfway through done.
Of course he is.
So it was like one of those things. I'm like, there's so many movies out there. So, but anyway, we're gonna do that. You can pretty much find us on YouTube and Notorious by Chance too. Another thing we got to start doing. We're gonna do new release talks and like reviews. We've been a couple months dormant from that. It's because like him with the Schmodown and stuff, and he's been busy. Holiday season just kind of killed us, so we're gonna try to get back into it next year. You can pretty much find me anywhere else talking.
And of course, right here on the HorrorScope podcast.
Absolutely, cheap plug. No, because you can't plug it because I mean we are it. Yeah. So but it's one of those things where we're gonna start trying to put more content together. We're gonna start putting stuff up. Try to invite more people to like the page and just try to get get word of mouth about it. Maybe create a Twitter account or something like that.
Yeah, I can definitely create that Twitter account pretty easy.
So I think it'd be something fun. But we got a lot of ideas in the hopper. So this should be a good 2020.
Oh yeah, 2020 is going to be a crazy year for me because not only do I got this show to deal with, but now Also, season 2 of Combat Wrestling Trivia kicks off, so check out that. Subscribe to Combat Wrestling Network and Film Nerd TV for all things movies and wrestling and horror and everything in between. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.